The struggling US economy and American unemployment are causing concern for President Obama as the 2012 election nears. With less than 100 days to go until the first primary election to decide who the Republican nominee to face Obama will be, the candidates met on Tuesday night to debate the economy. Joining me on the line from New York to assess their performance is Richard Ross from the agency broker firm Auerbach Grayson, who has 20 years' experience on Wall Street. Thanks very much for joining me, Richard. This wasn't the first debate, of course, but it is the first to focus on just the economy. Which of the candidates was the big winner and said the right things for the markets, do you think?
Well, I think it's very early on in the contest. I think the battle lines are still being drawn. The U.S. public, we're still getting a sense for who these candidates really are. Right now, the attention is being deflected from the candidates themselves to the failings of the current administration, which seems to be an easy punching bag with all of the problems in the markets, with job creation, taxes, health care, the debt ceiling. So it's very easy, once again, to take attention away from the candidates and towards the problems of the current administration, which is kind of a no-lose proposition right now, and it's a very safe strategy that most of the candidates are following.
The Senate have now passed the bill aimed at encouraging China to allow their currency to appreciate. I don't think anyone mentioned this last night, but China did come up. Is there agreement within the GOP and the candidates on how to handle the strength of the Chinese economy?
I get the sense that most of these candidates are somewhat lacking in their international economic experience, and once again, that's just my own opinion. But look, dealing with China is not an easy situation. This country is cloaked in opacity. There's not a lot of really good, credible data that comes out of China. So I don't fault any of the candidates for not having a clear or decisive plan. Look, this is a new emerging world power here, a global powerhouse of an economy that's really just leapt onto the stage in recent years. So I think we're all trying to figure out, and certainly the candidates most importantly, about how to deal with this new powerhouse that's come onto the economic stage. But I don't hear any clear plan or any real decisiveness on anyone's part that really rings true.
One of the key issues in the primary and next year's election will be job creation. Obama has made a number of speeches on it, but he saw his American Jobs Act fail this week. The two leading candidates are both claiming to be the right man for jobs, but they've got differing techniques in job creation, Perry as a governor and Romney from business. Do the markets have a preferred approach?
Well, I think that the markets' view towards job creation is that the proof is in the numbers. I don't think they care necessarily how they get there. They just like to see it happen. As you alluded to, a lot of speeches by President Obama, but not a lot of job creation. We're almost 3+ years into this administration and not really a lot to show for it on the job creation front. You know, it seems like the focal point of Perry's approach is really to get people more involved in the energy industry. Of course, coming from Texas, that's not a big surprise. So I don't know if that's going to ring true per se, just getting energy going. In fact, that's kind of a sector that people would rather see get smaller than get larger. So I don't know if that's the best solution that people are looking for. I think Romney perhaps a little bit more credible with that pure business background. I think he's looked upon as the most business savvy, coming from Massachusetts, a very strong state, a very strong economy, always on the cutting edge in terms of technology, job creation, healthcare, finance, where a lot of our financial services and mutual fund companies are headquartered. So I think Romney probably has the clearest focus and probably the most support by the voting public.
Finally, Richard, when we last spoke, we were previewing Ben Bernanke's speech at Jackson Hole. Rick Perry got into some hot water with his views on the federal chairman, and Bernanke was the topic of some criticism again last night. Are the candidates' views on Bernanke popular?
Chairman Bernanke, look, has become a scapegoat to a large degree, and in some ways right and in some ways wrong. When we have a financial crisis like this, people are always looking to point blame, and he has a very high-profile job. But clearly one of the roles of the Federal Reserve is to remain independent and to be separate from government and not sort of crumble under the pressure of political rhetoric. That's why we have the system established that way. The reality is that he's doing the best he can with a very difficult situation. I don't think he's exacerbating the situation to the negative side at all. And if anything, he seems to have a very calm and composed demeanor, and certainly his knowledge of economics and his study of history is really unparalleled. So once again, a convenient scapegoat, a convenient punching bag, but probably misplaced anger. I think there are greater issues that we need to tackle right now than to attack Ben Bernanke.
Many thanks for that insight, Richard. We'll get more of an idea as to who the American people will choose to run against President Obama when the bulk of the primaries happen early next year. That's all we've got time for, but stay tuned to Dukascopy TV. Goodbye.